real cases before a real judge.
Plaintiff Kenzie Lester became friends with the defendant while working together. And although he had past issues with meth, he insisted he was clean. However, Kenzie claims after the defendant was fired, he was caught on surveillance video stealing money from the register. So she's suing. Defendant Benton Colby Feller admits he started using drugs as a teenager because it made him popular. But after a 7-year stint in prison, he cleaned up his act. Colby insists he never stole anything from his previous place of employment, and he's countersuing for defamation.
All right, start with you.
Well, I met Colby in the summer of 2020. He started working.
Colby?
Yeah, that's what he goes by outside of.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's my dog's name.
Yeah, that's his middle name. He goes by that.
You know, just
Yeah, but
small world.
met-
Small world.
There you go.
Go ahead.
Must be a handsome dog.
So I met Colby in the summer of 2020, and he started working at the restaurant I worked at. And he had worked there before, and we started to become pretty close friends, and we started hanging out outside of work. He had mentioned to me in the past that he had issues with methamphetamines and had a little bit of a sketchy past, but he had cleaned up from it and was a better person since then. And I had no reason to not judge him or to judge him. And I had no reason
doubt
to
him. Mm-hmm.
think he was a bad person. He seemed pretty straightforward. I used to have issues with addiction myself. I went to rehab actually for alcohol and Xanax, and then I worked at a rehab for a little over a year, helping people get themselves clean as well.
How was that Xanax recovery? I'm told that that's almost like heroin if you're addicted. I heard it's very painful like opioids.
Yeah,
They say it's not an opioid though, right?
Yeah, it's not. It is actually rough, very rough. Alcohol and Xanax, you can actually die from coming off of it. Heroin just feels like you can die, you can't. But it was a very tough time, and I did 3 months in a rehab, and then I worked in the rehab as a detox counselor and a graduation counselor. So I help people get through the roughest times and also on the way out.
Excellent.
So that is part of the reason why I really didn't have any reason to judge Colby or think that, he was going to be anything less than what he had already showed me. But then we started to continue our friendship, and he started to get a little more out of control. At one point, we hung out outside of work with another coworker and went to a casino. And he called me later that night and asked me if I found like 150 ecstasy pills in my car. And he had somehow lost 150 ecstasy pills at the casino. I don't know how or why he had that many on him.
Did he follow up and say, well, can you throw me the money until I find it?
No, luckily.
You're not even a good dope fiend. Go ahead.
Yeah, but
There's nothing wrong with him, ma'am. He is definitely not using drugs if he didn't say that.
No, not yet. It got worse.
Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me be quiet.
He then started to show up late to work, if he would show up at all. There are multiple scenes where he would act out and be a little bit neurotic and obviously on drugs. And we eventually had to let him go in November of 2021.
Follow up and say, well, can you throw me the money until I find it?
No, luckily.
You're not even a good dope fiend. Go ahead.
Yeah, but
There's nothing wrong with him, ma'am. He is definitely not using drugs if he didn't say that.
No, not yet. It got worse.
Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
Defendant Benton Colby Feller is being sued by his former coworker, who claims Colby stole money from the cash register at work, and the incident was caught on surveillance video.
Okay, let me allow him to give some catch up with you a little, and then we'll get back to November 21 when they had to let him go.
Well, me being late for work is nothing new. That's been a standard my whole life. But
and you think that's all right? Does the boss think it's all right?
Sometimes, sometimes they let it slide. So,
Okay.
Yeah. No, I never really looked.
If one of my employees told me I'm always late for work, I would fire him.
Yeah, I never.
Right then. I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna wait until you mess up my work. Go ahead.
I think the restaurant industry is a little different. They, when it's slower times, they kind of turn a blind eye to being late, I guess.
That's true.
But just a little about me, like she said, early on in life, I kind of had like a rough teenage years and stuff. So I kind of used drugs and like dealing drugs and stuff to kind of build a social life off of. It's kind of what always made me popular. I was always been kind of the drug dude. But did a little prison time in the early 2000s, 2002 to 2007.
For what?
So,
Must have been some weight.
Well, nah, it wasn't drug related at all. It was forgery, and
okay.
I actually had escaped from prison one time. So they tacked on. They got six. I got 6.
That'll get you some time for sure.
Yeah, I got 6 extra years off that. So it started off like 18 months.
I was about to say that's a long time for fraud.
Yeah, I got
all right. You had 1 year for fraud and then tried to escape.
But yeah, so when I got out in 2007, I just been squeaky clean ever since. Never been in any trouble with the law. You know, prison make a man out of you, trying to make you feel like I don't want to do this anymore. So when I was working in the radio industry and then serving on the side, because I like the quick money. I like the, you know, not a redundant job.
That's right, Doc. You need that cash as soon as you can get it in your hand.
Yeah.
And forget about a check. Don't bring me no check. I ain't got time to get to no bank.
Yeah.
Man say he leaving in an hour.
Cash, man, I don't need...
Man say he leaving in an hour. He got to go re-up. Please give me my cash.
Very true, very true. But yeah, so I was working in the restaurant industry. That's where I met Kenzie. You know, like she said, I worked there 5 years. She worked there about 2. And
he lasted for 5 years.
There's no reason to ever think I would steal from the company. It just doesn't make sense. You know?
Let's hear about that. Tell me what happened, ma'am, with this alleged theft. And he been on the job longer than you.
No, actually, he only worked there a few years prior and then wasn't there. And then I was there for 2 years when he got there. And I've been there now 4 years. So, like, and I am the assistant manager and a bartender there. So I went up in the ranks because I'm trustworthy and I show up on time and I work harder and not on meth. So
Objection.
No, that helps. When you're not on drugs, you can usually be a better employee.
I worked there.
Again, if it weren't even for the drugs, at least I'm there on time. He says we turn the naked eye. No, we do it because we have nobody in there. We would love you to show up on time. That is part of the reason you got fired. That being said, November of 2021, we've decided to let him go because we just can't handle him anymore. And he's still coming around a lot. Anybody that works at this restaurant does. I mean, it's kind of like once you work there, like I said, he got to come back again already. You just gotta like do a wait time to let off all the stuff that you used to do. They let you come back. But he comes in on, let's see, it's December of 2021 at this point. And me and him don't hang out outside of work. He comes in with an old coworker that we worked with, the same one that went to the casino with us that night. And at that point, my friend Nichols had already messaged me because he knew how close me and Colby used to be and told me that he was at the casino up the street where Nichols works and bartends. And that he had just made small talk and asked him how he was doing. And that he said not good, that he had been very down on money. He seemed very depressed. And I actually have witness footage of that too from Nichols.
Defendant Benton Colby Feller is being sued by his former co-worker, who claims Colby stole money from the cash register at work. And the incident was caught on surveillance video.
Let me see it now, yes.
Hello there, my name is Nichols Nicholson. I am Kenzie's bestie, and I work at the casino down the street. So the night this happens, Colby comes in, he wants to gamble. So he plays a few slots, buys a few drinks. I'm the bartender, and so I'm always asking people, you know, how's your night going? You making a lot of money out there? He's like, I'm not doing so hot. So he leaves, and Kenzie calls me about 2 hours later and says, Colby just stole a bunch of money out of my cash drawer. I'm like, ooh. Yeah, I see it. He was just at the casino, and I think he lost a lot of money. And then she shows me the video, and I'm like, ooh. Yeah, I can literally see it. So yeah, he takes the money, pitter-patters around, and then he leaves. Case open, closed, shut.
Boom! You're supposed to do that.
There you go.
You got that part. Boom!
Okay, first of all, I don't gamble.
So then from there on, because he had already mentioned that to me via text, that had nothing to do with it until I put 2 and 2 together because I was behind the bar, I was running the bar, and I handle all the money for the night. We do like server banking, so everybody has to give me their money. And so I have my people doing all their stuff. We're closed at this point. Colby's hanging around talking to all the other coworkers, but that's nothing weird. And I go outside to take the trash out. When I come back in, I have noticed that my cash register door is just open a little bit. And I know I didn't leave it open. And in that moment, I shut it and I turn off my register and I go in and look at the cameras. And when I watch the cameras, you can clearly see Colby wandering around, looking around to see.
Looking, you got your head down now, Colby.
No, I'm just listening to. I'm taking it all in because it's
for a minute you was.
It's a work of fiction there.
Well,
taking it all in.
Go ahead.
So he's looking around, obviously, trying to see.
Tell me we're gonna see.
We're gonna see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's looking around, seeing where people are to see if they can see what he's doing. You can see him hitting the register screen. You can see the register pop open, and you can see him lifting the drawer up. And we all know that the big bills go under the drawer.
Okay.
And he's wearing a large, puffy, like winter jacket. It's December, and it's winter, and you can see him slide something in his sleeve. And then I come back around. And I notice all this, and I immediately exit out, go to watch the video, and while I'm watching the video, he then also comes back around and tries to reopen it. And I have multiple coworkers telling me that he's still trying to get back in it and that they saw him doing this, which I do have footage of it.
If I stole one time, why would I come back to... Okay. Well, let's see the money go in my sleeve. I'd like to see that. Well, this video's pretty grainy.
Is that him over there to the right?
That's him opening it. You see him lift up the drawer?
They got better video of the grassy knoll than they have of this.
No! Yeah, and see, it's open.
Got his hand folded, walking like that.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I just had to slow it down.
How short was the register? I'm curious.
What were you doing there at the register?
I'm very familiar with the computer system. There's nobody behind the register. I can go back and bring myself in some food. I worked there for 5 years.
What did you do?
I got on the register, yeah.
We were closed at that point.
For what?
For what? I was a little drunk, so I just, try and get some food.
Out of the register?
Not out of the register. You got to ring it in so the kitchen will make it.
We were closed at that point, though. So how would he bring in food when the kitchen was? We were closed. Everybody is cleaning up at that point. We were taking the soda machine apart. I am taking the trash out.
You clean early so you can leave early.
No, we were closed. I also have other evidence.
If we were closed, and how was I in there with other?
Would you like to see
other evidence?
Yes, I have messages between me and Colby on Facebook where he clearly is trying to tell me.
What page?
It is page 1, 2, and 3. He is trying
to apologize for the misunderstanding.
No, he's trying to minimize his guilt by saying I was doing sketchy stuff, but I wasn't stealing from you. In my opinion, somebody wouldn't say they were doing it at all. That sounds like an Alfred plea if it were ever. That's saying I'm guilty, but I didn't do it.
No, not at all.
Why would you own up to it at all if you weren't?
I know I got a little too snooping around. What were you snooping for?
I was just using, get behind the bar and make a drink.
But now it's snooping?
You might get behind the bar and make yourself a drink, use the register.
That's not snooping.
Yeah, snooping is...
You use the term snooping around.
Yeah, I was snooping around. I was looking, I was seeing if I could still use the register for one. That is one thing I was kind of testing out.
But I didn't actually take anything. I would never. I just like.
Yeah, because the story in question is, did I steal something? No, I did not.
Defendant Benton Colby Feller is being sued by his former co-worker, who claims Colby stole money from the cash register at work. And the incident was caught on surveillance video.
What's your counterclaim for? How does she owe you?
First of all, I didn't get fired in... When she said, I got fired around June of 2021. Around that same time, me and the girl I was with kind of had like a little pretty rocky separation. Took it really hard, and I was just, did a lot of cocaine to deal with the loneliness, deal with the depression I was going through. And around that time, and the time when I feel like I needed friends, I get accused of stealing money, so it already looks bad. People think, oh, Colby's on drugs.
No, you get recorded stealing money. Go ahead.
Well,
what else?
You can't see anything come out of the register. It wasn't me.
I know.
So I get accused of this. Everybody at the restaurant now thinks I'm just some junky dope fiend who's out here stealing money.
They never heard that?
No, what's that?
Had they ever heard that?
No, never once before. I never had that reputation ever before, ever.
No one had ever heard it?
No one had ever, no. People might have heard that I did drugs, but it was just like a short-term thing there. But no one would ever accuse me of stealing. I borrowed money from the company that I paid back within a week. So why would I turn around and steal money from the register? And then if I stole money from the register, why wouldn't I steal all the money?
That's what people do when they,
money?
As you describe yourself, that's what people do when they are snooping.
Yeah.
That's usually the objective, is to steal. And the #1 defense to defamation is truth. And based on the evidence I saw with my own eyes and read you referring to yourself as snooping, I'm going to dismiss your claim and yours is granted. Have a good day.
Thank you. I just hope, you get clean, get the help that you want, and maybe we can make amends on another level at some point.
Yeah. I've been clean 6 months, and, it's all been a misunderstanding, and I hope someday we can meet backstage at the Academy Awards, Will Smith giving us a toast, and we can have a good laugh about this. Yeah.